Hey guys, we are back with some more New York Islanders franchise mode, and in this one we got brutally kicked out of the playoffs. Well, actually that was in the last one, but still, we're here sitting out of the playoffs now. Got kicked out in round number 1 by the Detroit Red Wings, who had 42 wins on the regular season. We had 62. I mean, that's pretty much the upset of the century right there, if you ask me. And it's just just a total disappointment. They just barely squeaked into the playoffs, 90 points. I mean, the Maple Leafs were a couple points behind them, but still, you generally need at least 95 normally to make it in the playoffs. They got in with 90, 42 wins, and they, for some reason, were much better than your New York Islanders, especially in the last 3 games. As we take a look at the series here, we lost the first game 4-3, then we won the next 2 games 2-1 and 6-3. So good showings there by our offense in this game and then by our defense in this game. But then it just went completely downhill from here. 2-0 loss, 6-5 loss, 8-3 loss. That was absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, that's just disappointing. Really disappointing. That was probably the most frustrating playoff series we've had in a long time on this channel, I have to say. Just because of the how much of an underdog the Red Wings were, you know. And I know, upsets happen, but I mean, geez, when you tie the regular season record for wins, you kind of expect to get at least past the first round, you know. Bennett Strite with 8 points. He had a fine playoffs there. Same thing with Martin Necas. The second line looks like it was going pretty well. I mean, Mueller only had 3 points, but still, Necas and Strite, 8 and 7. They led our team. And then Wallstrom had 6. Hines had 5. Erisberg had 5. Ottoson had 5. So our depth scoring was there, for sure. But goaltending, no. Not at all. Jason Hutchinson with an 878 save percentage in 6 games. Only 2 wins, 138 saves. So say what you will about the defense, but an 879 save percentage just isn't good enough at any level. And Mark Gare got in there for 1 game and an 838 save percentage, so he didn't do much better than Hutchinson. He wasn't even in there for a full game, just got in there, I'm guessing, in relief for 51 minutes. I don't know why you would be in relief for 51 minutes. I guess Hutchinson choked early. I don't know. It might have been, it might have been that last game 6 there. Yeah, because they got off to an early lead in that game. But regardless, that was not an acceptable playoff series at all. And we're going down to the last year in this GM mode now. We're currently in year number 9, but it's clearly over for us at this point. We may as well follow the AHL team here a little bit, but yeah, 1 year left with this team. And it looks like our AHL team might... Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Hey, there you go. Okay, at least our AHL team won something. Unlike our NHL team, which had 62 wins in the regular season. Jeez. 6-1 loss there against the Penguins, and the score for game number 2 is not updating for whatever reason. There you go, 3-0 win, and that is a 3-1 series lead for the Bridgeport Sound Tigers. And there you go, they're moving on to round number 3. So let's see what they have. They will be going up against... Come on now. Come on. I should probably go more than one day at a time here. They'll be going up against the Belleville, I believe that's the Belleville Senators. I know it's not Binghamton Senators because Binghamton is the Devils affiliate. So here we go, game number 1. That is the OT. That is an OT loss in game number 1. Let's see what they could do in 2, 3, and 4 here. Solid 8-3 win. 5-2 win there in game number 3, and then a 2-0 loss in game number 4. So best of 3 now at this point. 3-1 win, 4-1 loss going into game number 7. Let's see if we can make it to the Calder Cup Finals. Come on, boys. No, we can't. 4-1 loss in game number 7 to Belleville. You don't like to see that, but they tried, unlike our NHL team. So, all right, let's get to the draft. We'll get to the retirements. Now, the interesting thing about this year is that we actually do have a couple of lottery picks due to the trades to, I believe it was Colorado and Florida. So that was the Czech trade, and I think Oda is who we sent to Florida. So this should be interesting. We might actually end up getting a couple of top 5 picks here, depending on how bad those teams were. So the Stanley Cup champions are the Chicago Blackhawks, as we take a look at the season standings, because I'm interested to see how high these picks can potentially be if they don't win the lottery, you know. So let's see. We're looking for Colorado and Florida. So, okay, we're looking promising. So Colorado is 25th in the league, meaning that can't drop any further than 9th. Am I correct? I believe so, because that would be, if that doesn't win the lottery, and if no teams that are, you know, behind the Avalanche in terms of their standings, then that should be at least, that could be the 6th overall pick, it could be the 9th overall pick, or it could be a top 3 pick. That's pretty good for the Avalanche. Let's see where the Panthers are here. Rangers, Devils, Flyers, Coyotes. The Florida Panthers are in 30th. So that pick is no less than the top 5. Ooh, and the Capitals are in last, and they were way in last. But still, the Florida Panthers, we're getting a top 5 pick no matter what out of this. That means. And we have the potential to get 2 top 3 picks, presuming the lottery goes in both of those picks' favors, which it very well might, given our luck in this GM mode that we've had with the draft lottery. So I'm interested to see what happens here. So let's get up to the lottery, and this should be pretty hype. So, I mean, after having a solid, not just a solid, but a phenomenal regular season, you know, we have the potential to get the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd overall pick here in the draft lottery. So let's see what happens. I mean, regardless, again, we're getting a top 5 pick, so I'm happy either way. Let's see. Oh, the Florida pick. Well, I mean, that's kind of where it was supposed to be anyway. Even without the lottery, that would have been the 2nd pick. But it looks like, yeah, Toronto won the lottery. Wow, so that pick from Colorado is pushed back to 8. But that's fine. You know, we have 2, we have 8. I mean, we're not really in a position where we need to pick up prospects, but you know what? I'll take it. I'll certainly take it. We'll take 2nd overall any day of the week. So Patrick Kane retires with 1,592 points on Pittsburgh. JVR, Hedman, Nyquist, Shen, Smith, Marchessault, Josi, Krug, Kreider, Coyle, Smith, another Smith, Craig Smith, and then Riley Smith as well. Then Justin Schultz, Shaw, Ellis, Sheary, Connolly, Hayes, Yarncrow, Shason, not quite sure how to pronounce that, but I think it's Shason. And then Panic, Savard, Scott Wilson, Blake Coleman. Sure, okay, so let's see, not the Jets, let's see. I keep hitting the wrong button there. Let's see, goaltenders. Come on now. Bobrovsky, Schneider, Ranta, Darling, Kemper, Tokarski, Wedgwood, all retiring. So there are the retirements for the league, and let's make our way to the draft. But before we get in the draft, let us check out the draft class to see who is going 2nd overall, or supposedly going 2nd overall. So Arthur Gormley is going 1st, presumably. But even if he doesn't go 1st, that's still a nice pickup for us. I mean, we would, you know, we have Pascal Durat, so we don't necessarily need Gormley. But still, given the struggles that we had in the playoffs this year, a new young player coming in there might not be a bad idea, especially to shed some salary. Alexander, Vienno. He looks solid. Joe Thornton is the similar style, medium elite potential. A minus, A minus, A minus, A minus. So he looks to be at least in the high 70s, I would say. Maybe even 80s. And then Hopkins, Andrew Hopkins, A plus, A, B, B, A, B. He is 6'2", power forward. Goal scoring, puck protection, pro release. Dane Baker, A minus, B, 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 A, B. So this guy isn't as NHL ready as those other guys, but he's still got the medium elite. He is a defensive defenseman, so whoever is getting him is getting a good, solid defensive defenseman for the future. Guy Suave of Sherbrooke, pro release, hard wrist shot, and offensive instincts are his strengths. A plus for shooting, A minus, B, B, B minus, B. No weaknesses like Theo Fleury. Then you have Dan Park, B, A, C, D, C, C. Not my first choice there. Hopefully there's someone good at 8. So maybe Nikita Berzgalov here. A, B minus, B minus, C, C, C. Top 6, medium potential. And then Tiny Siu. B, B, B minus, C, C, C. I mean, he is... he looks pretty good. Cade Martinuk. We don't really have anything on him. Skewin. Goal scoring, offensive instincts, balance. 6'5". Medium elite. So he's definitely someone who we could pick up for trade value. And then Houston. B, B minus, B minus, B minus, A minus, B. Puck protection, strength, and balance are his strengths. Medium top 6. Grinder. Matthias Dahl. A, B minus, B minus, C, C, C. Okay, let's sort by potential now, see if there's any gems that we can get with the later picks. McIlrath. Amir McIlrath. 107 overall. Playmaker. He is definitely a ways away there, but he is a medium elite. So let's see what else we can find here. Maybe some low elites. Yeah, Matheson, Kostitsin, Klotz, Pricing, Goldobin, Klein. A lot of low elites here, so, you know, I'm not even going to bother pinning these guys because we can just literally sort by potential. I'll pin these guys because they might go sooner, but all these guys like going into the 200s, we don't need to pin them. They'll all still be there for pretty much every pick that we have. So yeah, I mean, it looks like another draft of getting low elites here. 3 Germans actually. Robin Klein, Norbert Pricing, and Max Klotz. That'd be great for the Wolfsburg series, but unfortunately this is not the Wolfsburg series. This is the New York Islanders, but still, there's a good chance we'll be getting at least 2 or maybe even all 3 of those guys. So we'll back out of here now, and we will go into the draft with the 2nd overall pick. Actually, before we do that, I'm just gonna check the awards since it popped into my head to check the awards. Stanley Cup, Chicago Blackhawks. President's Trophy, of course, your New York Islanders, who had a phenomenal season, and it was Chicago versus Carolina in the finals. Player awards, Jack Hughes wins the Art Ross on Ottawa, and Hughes also wins the Hart. Morgan Riley wins the Norris. There you go. Lady Bing, Hughes, Calder goes to Mikhail Erzberg. How you like that? And then Conn Smythe, Connor Hellebuck of the Blackhawks. Vezina, Andrei Vasilevsky. Jennings, Andrei Vasilevsky. Masterton goes to Z Hutton of the Wild. Selke goes to Nico Hischier of the New Jersey Devils. Ted Lindsay, Hughes, of course, and then, Hughes for the Maurice Richard. So Hughes took home a lot of hardware there. Playoff tree. Let's just take a quick look at this. I'm not going to go too deep into it since I don't want to relive the nightmare of the Detroit Red Wings series, and they only made it to round number 2 as well, so it's not like that we could even say that we lost to the team who lost to the Stanley Cup champions, they lost to Carolina, so... Well, I mean, I guess they lost to the Eastern Conference champions, but... So, we lost to the team that lost to the team that lost to the Stanley Cup Finals, to the Stanley Cup champions. So, yeah, not exactly the greatest run there, especially for going 62-17-3 in the regular season. So, yeah, there's the playoff tree. And we did the awards. We checked out the player stats. So all there is left to do at this point is go into the draft. So let's do it. Let's take advantage of this second overall pick. And you know what? I want to see if a certain someone is available. Because I know that Hutchinson's contract is up this year. And he does not want to re-sign. So you risk losing him to free agency. He didn't have the greatest playoffs. So I want to see if Mr. John Gibson, he's still there in San Jose. He has 1 year on this contract though as well. And he hasn't been renewed. So you know what? I actually might, yeah, I'll hold off. I'll hold off on that trade for sure. Gibson might actually end up going to free agency. I hope he does. I really hope he does. Because they only have 4.7 in salary cap, right? So he actually might end up going to free agency here. Because they're playing McLennan 12.7 here. Then Shea 7.8. Brodeur 8 mil. Huberdeau 7 mil. And then they have to pay this Artukin guy, right? They have to pay Maxim Artukin. Didn't we draft this guy? Yeah, we did. Maxim Artukin, he has to get paid. Presuming he's at an NHL level at this point, which I guess he is. Yeah, he played last year, so they're going to have to pay him as well. So Gibson might actually end up going to free agency here. They have to pay Malmstrom as well. Oh, yeah. I think Gibson's going to end up going to free agency. So this is a big offseason for your New York Islanders. I did not mean to go back to offer trade, so we're just going to sim the first pick for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we'll see who they take. They will take Gormley. Okay, so with this second overall pick, I don't really know who I want to take, to be honest with you, because we don't really have too many needs. I guess we just fill out our weakest spot in terms of prospects. Now, Dane Barker, at least in terms of our weak spots for prospects, would be defense, I would say. Well, then again, most of our prospects have developed at this point. So I guess you can't really go wrong with anyone here. Yeah, you know what? Yeah. Alexander Vigneault. He's the best player available right now. As opposed to someone like Hopkins or Barker or Sauve or Suave, however it's pronounced. Vigneault is definitely the best player available. There's no doubt you got to take him. Welcome to the New York Islanders, Alexander Vigneault. And you French Canadians, let me know how that's actually pronounced, because I'm pretty sure that's not how it is. So you got Tiny Sue here, B minus, all that. You got Skewin. I think I'm gonna take him. He's a two-way forward, and even though he's definitely not gonna be ready for the NHL next year, you can still use him as trade value with that medium elite. So we will be taking Daryl Skewin. Welcome to the New York Islanders, at least temporarily. So. You have another first-round pick here, our own first-round pick, I believe. Yeah, 19, so that's definitely ours. You have Grumet Morris. He looks pretty good. Berg. I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter too much because we're going to year number 10, right? Gordy Del Monte. Dietz, another Dietz. Well, actually, Nathaniel Dietz isn't looking too bad. He's got the A- for shooting, so he's better than everyone up here. Yeah, we'll just take the most NHL-ready guy, I suppose. Nathaniel Dietz. Welcome to the New York Islanders. And going, still in round number 1. I forgot we traded for all these first-round picks. So we have a lot of guys down here. Matheson, B-, C, C-, C-. Offensive instincts, playmaking ability, passing ability, shot utilization, 6'2", low elite. Playmaker. You got your Vinen here, who's a gem like TJ Oshie, medium top 6. Well, this guy actually, Elliot Buss. He's a medium top 6. He's more NHL ready than all those guys. He's 20 years of age, but still had a solid season there in the WHL, 87 points. We'll take Bus. Why not? Welcome to the New York Islanders. And, of course, we have another first-round pick here. So we may as well, presuming he's still available, yeah, we may as well take Matheson or Järvinen. Could take Matvichuk as well. B, B minus, B minus, C, C, C minus. Another low elite, Kostitsyn. Ooh, Kostitsyn. Got that A for shooting. I mean, we really don't need any offensive forwards at this point, but again, you're pretty much just drafting for value other than that second overall pick there. Yeah, we'll take Kostitsyn. More NHL ready. So sim options, sim to user pick. Do we have a second? Yeah, we do. Late second. There's another, oh, Jalen Oda. And he actually looks pretty close to NHL ready. He's not quite there, but he could at least play in the AHL, I think. B minus, C minus, B minus. Let's sort by potential just to make sure we're not missing out on anything. Oh yeah, there's that McIlrath guy. Do I want to pick him up now? Yeah, you know what? Again, we're drafting for value. There's no harm in taking him right now as opposed to in round number 4. Actually, yeah, we didn't even have a third round pick, so I'm glad I took him. Because we're at 118 now. He was supposed to go like 107, I think it was. So yeah, glad I took him. Now Klotz. And pricing, all the Germans here. Klein. I mean, we'll just... we'll go with what we need for right now, which is really not a whole lot, but I think our defensive prospects are slightly weaker than our offensive prospects. So we'll take Klotz here. We will take pricing now, the two-way forward. Welcome to New York. Robin Klein, get on the team. Another German board player. 3 consecutive German board players taken in a row by your New York Islanders. Let's just take Goldobin. He's the gem. Why not? Welcome to the New York Islanders. Offensive defenseman, Goldobin. And round number 7. We, again, may as well take one of those low elites and Cairns or Hanula. Defensive defenseman, offensive defenseman, D minus, D, E, C minus, D minus, C, 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 D minus, D, D. Yeah, I'll take Hanula. He's more NHL ready. There you go. There's the draft. All that's done. So welcome to New York. Vino, Skewin, Dietz, Bus, Kostitsyn, McIlrath, Klotz, Pricing, Klein, Goldobin, and Hanula in this year's draft. Okay, so let's get to the re-sign stage. I'll go re-sign the scouts real quick. Okay, so I'm going to be releasing this guy, M. Dano. He's a B- in the DEL, so we will be going after another European scout in the scouting free agency. But that is it for scouts for right now. So let's get to the players. And let's see what we have in terms of contracts. So now I know that Jason Hutchinson's contract is up this year and he doesn't want to re-sign. How much does he want? He wants 6.3. We have a total of 18.3 in cap. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'm not going to promise anything for Hutchinson, but I would, especially given his recent performance in the playoffs, I would rather not overpay him. So let's go by UFAs here for skaters. So Severson, Montour, they both want to resign. That's good. Ottoson does not. Oof. Thompson wants to resign. He was a replacement player, if I'm not mistaken. He had 2 mil. Smith, Pelly, Ledoux, they can go to free agency. They were replacement players as well. They don't want to resign. Walfredson, release. And let's see, prospects. Bottom 6, release. Bottom 6, release. Low top 9. I don't need low top 9s. Delzato, low top 6 defenseman. Don't need you. Medium top 9, Kutta. 71 overall. Yeah, I'll sign you. Could be a good replacement player for the AHL. Allison, yep, definitely signing you. Low elite. Low elite for Bigra, signing you. And LaBarbara, medium top 6, we'll definitely sign you as well. Klopik, do you want a one-way or two-way? You want a two-way? Alright, I'll sign you. Taxay, do you want a one-way or two-way? You want a two-way? Sign you as well. Mike Riley, do you want a two-way? No, you want a one-way. I'm going to release you. Okay, so Thompson, Ottoson, Montour, Severson. RFA's just going to get the smaller players out of the way. Clapperton, do you want a two-way? Yes, you do. There you go. Reardon, same thing. There you go. Dietz, he wants a one-way deal, so I'll qualify him since he's got that medium elite, but I don't want to give him a one-way deal. Harry Peterson, he was in the NHL this year. 2.6. Gonna have to hold off on that. Hines, definitely want to get Hines signed. I think I want to get Tuomanen signed as well. He had 21 points. He was pretty solid in the playoffs. Commodore, definitely need to get him signed. He's our expert fourth line center on faceoffs. And then no RFA goaltenders. Okay. And then we'll check unsigned real quick. Hanzus, Naslund, Zykov, Flory, Hendrickson, Erickson, Blaine, Grumpier. Where's the guy we drafted? Oh, yeah, right. We don't have his overall yet, but I'm pretty sure that he is at least fourth line ready because he did have all A's across the board, so we will be signing Vienno here. Skewin, I don't believe he was NHL ready. I don't think anyone else besides Vienno was. Okay, so we have to strategize here. What players do we want to sign first? I would say Doug Hines is first. And going over to UFAs. Yeah, Severson and Montour pretty important as well. So Severson, Montour have equal preference for me. And then Ottoson doesn't want to resign. Thompson is definitely one of the last ones. Any replacement players for sure are last priority. And then I would say Commodore is next, given how good he is at faceoffs and how he could play basically any situation. And then Tuomanen. And then I would say Hutchinson, but again, we would have to overpay him, so I'll put him down as a question mark for right now. So we will go after Hines, Severson, and Montour first. Make sure they're locked up. Severson wants 5.3 for 6 years. I'm not giving you 6 years there. Oh, Severson has that top 6 now. Yeah, definitely not. Definitely not giving you that contract. Montour wants basically the same thing. No. They both have medium top 6s now. They're going to drop tremendously. I have a feeling. So those contracts are going to be untradeable. I have a feeling. So I'll give them a 1-year deal if they'll take it. But I'm not giving them anything beyond that. Even then, though, they might still drop during the season. Yeah, you know what? I think it'd be best if we just released Severson and Montour. Because, yeah, those contracts are way too much. They're asking for way too much there, and they're going to drop tremendously. I have a feeling. So, we'll ignore them for right now. We will go after them in free agency if they drop their price. Just given that they could be steals, at least for the first part of the season, while they're not dropping off. But the later part of the season, I imagine it will be rough with them. Doug Hines. He wants $2 million for 1 year. Well, 2.5 for 1 year. You know what? I'll give it to you. I will give you 2.4 for 1 year, Doug Hines. There you go. Then Tuomanen. He wants 1 year for 2.7. I'll give you 1 year for 2.4. I'm going to see if I can sign it for the same as Hines. Mike Commodore. He's somehow still an RFA. I guess we've just managed his contracts very well. And let's see. I guess, yeah, a 3-year deal is honestly good for Mike Commodore. And this is cheaper than his last deal, no? Yeah, it is. He was out 3.75 last time. Now, 3 years for, let's say, 2.8. That'd be very good for my Commodore. Absolutely. He may be on the fourth line, but he does a lot of important stuff for this team, so that is fine with me. Now, Darius Haynes. He wants 1.6. Does he deserve it? 12 points in 69 games, 112 hits. Yeah, he brings some physicality to that fourth line. But I think I want to get Peterson signed first. Just because I feel like he's going to grow this offseason. He had a rough ratio there. He's not much of a hitter either, but he did have 20 points in 67 games played last year, so we'll give him another go. 2 years for, I'll say, yeah, 2.4. Seems to be the standard here. And then, yeah, I guess we'll sign Haynes. 2 years, 1.5. That should be good enough for him. Dietz, we're going to tender a qualifying offer to. And UFAs. Ottoson, how much does he want? He wants 5 point. No. That's way too much for a third line score for an 82 overall. And we're going to have to overpay him as well. So, no. We'll go after him in free agency if we can. If he wants something cheaper. But I'm definitely not giving that to Ludwig Ottoson. Now, Thompson, given how many players we've released up to this point, might not be a bad idea to sign, but we don't really have much on him. And how much does he want again? He wants 2 mil. No. Gotta release that too. I can't justify signing that. And Dietz, we're gonna tender. So, at this point, Reguer and Hutchinson. How much does Reguer want? 1.7. I'll release him anyway. Hutchinson. He wants 6.4. And I'm not sure if I want to give him, 7 mil, 7.5 mil for the performance that he just had in the playoffs. So we'll simulate a headed day here. And I also want to see if John Gibson is available in free agency, because he really, if he's available, then I definitely want to go after him, because this is the last year. You may as well get the goaltender back who won you the Stanley Cup if you can get him, right? So we have 12.75 remaining in cap. I mean, you could technically overpay Hutchinson. But again, I want to see if Gibson's there. So, is that it in terms of our UFAs, RFAs? RFAs, we still have Tuominen didn't sign. And Dietz, and then UFAs, no one. Okay, so we still have to sign Tuominen. He didn't accept that 2.4. So we'll give him 2.6 for 1 year. And Dietz will tender a qualifying offer on the last day. But that should be, yeah, it's besides Hutchinson. Yeah, okay. So I think it's pretty clear in my mind at this point that I want to at least test free agency for a goaltender. So we'll let Hutchinson walk for right now. If there's no better options, if Gibson by chance re-signs with San Jose, then we'll definitely re-sign Hutchinson, but want to explore our options here. Now, hold on, I wasn't paying attention. Did Tuominen sign? I think he did, but I just want to make sure here, just so that we don't leave anyone out. I believe he did. Okay, so Hutchinson, yeah, and then, of course, Dietz, who we're going to have to tender on the 30th. But other than that, we are set to go into free agency here. Okay, so July 1st, let's see who is in free agency. We have approximately 12 mil to work with. There's Chychrun, there's Bouwmeester, not Jay Bouwmeester, but Dustin Bouwmeester, another defenseman, offensive defenseman. Rita, Dobson is there, Severson, Chubarov, Jones, I believe that's Jared Jones from Dallas, yeah. Jared Jones, Mata, Trouba, Miller, Carlson, Ottoson, Montour, Edmondson. Let's see how much Montour wants. Yeah, he still wants 5.3. I'm not signing that. Edmondson, listen. Does Severson want the same thing? I would imagine. Yeah, he does. So we're not signing Severson or Montour at this point. Zaboro, Kunin. Okay. Now, goaltenders. Rats. So Gibson isn't available, but who is available? Caden O'Mara. Let's see his stats. He's not bad. He's really not bad in the regular season for the past 3 years. Let's see, playoffs. Well, he kind of wasn't the greatest. And I do know a certain other franchise potential goaltender who was not the greatest in the playoffs, who actually was absolutely terrible. But before we go signing any goaltenders in free agency, let's take a look at what our roster would look like as it currently stands. So, forwards, we have 1, 2, 3. This is 8, I believe. Yep. 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have enough forwards. I'd want to get maybe a depth forward there as well. But I don't think our forward core changed much, if at all. Well, we released Ottoson, actually, so we'd be putting Sedin in there. But other than Ottoson, I don't think anyone else went to free agency. Now, defense is where the real change is. So, Durat, Riley, Ghost, and then Peterson. I don't feel comfortable playing Barry with Peterson. It's one or the other, not both. So, we're going to have to sign a couple of defensemen. And we obviously need a goaltender. Or 2, or 3. So, we're going to have to budget ourselves here. Considering we only have 12 mil. I would say for the 2 defensemen, we can't spend any more than 6 mil total. So let's see. Duret is a righty. Riley's a lefty. Ghost is a lefty. Peterson's a righty. So we need 1 lefty and 1 righty. And again, no more than 6 million, I would say, for that. And then goaltenders, I guess whatever money we have left over, we'll use that. So, again, 6 mil for 2 NHL goaltenders. Now, is that enough? Is the thing. Because Hutchinson, I think, wanted 6 mil himself, right? And Gibson isn't available. You know what? What if I just traded for Gibson, to be honest? Let's see. Hutchinson wants 6.5. O'Mara definitely isn't happening unless we move even more pieces out. We have so many huge contracts already. It's just, I don't think that's happening. But Hutchinson wants 6.5. 2 teams are interested in him already. Roenick wants 4 mil. So Zane Roenick, but here's the thing. He might not be the greatest goalie in the world here. He doesn't have any playoff experience either. I kind of want that playoff experience. What if we traded for Gibson? Let's just see how much that would cost to trade for him. I mean, it's not like we don't have any trade value at this point, right? I mean, look at this. Mueller, Wallstrom, Purcell, Duret, Strike. I mean, we're not trading these guys, but still, look how much trade value we have. Naslund, Ghost could still be unloaded, technically. Riley is on a 1-year deal. 33 years of age. Kolesnik, Grandpierre, Dietz needs to be traded anyway because he's an RFA. And then LaBarbera. I mean, you have so much trade value here. And then on top of that, you have draft picks. We have 1 from Colorado again. It's just a lot. Vahioli as well. So let's see what the Sharks would take for Gibson. I know they just signed him, but he's only making 4.7. So for Gibson, who still presumably has the exact elite and is still winning Vezina trophies over here, and he's still, oh yeah, that save percentage in the playoffs. Did the Sharks win the cup? I forget. No, that was Chicago. So they must have went to the 3rd round, but Gibson played out of his mind as he usually does. So you know what? I want Gibson. So what do the Sharks want here? Do they want some rookies? Do they want some NHL players? Yeah, they want NHL players. Okay. So Sedin, Hines, Barry. They don't want Naslund. They don't want Kolesnik. The idea of getting John Gibson back for the last year of the GM mode, it's a little too good. So you know what? I might just end it here. I'm not going to sign any free agents because I want your guys' opinion. Should we go after John Gibson for the last year of the GM mode. I'll leave that up to you guys. And even if we retain 50% of his salary, I would imagine we could get him. We have a lot of trade value. So that would take him down to like 2.3 for his salary, you know? Then we could spend more money on defense. At least in terms of defensemen, I think I saw at least a few that are some top defensemen, but we wouldn't necessarily be going after top defensemen. We'd be going after Severson and Montour type defensemen without going after Severson and Montour because they're going to drop tremendously next year. So I would prefer someone who's like 26, 27, maybe 30. I could go for 30 as well, but no one who's going to be dropping in potential during this year, because I don't want to have them, you know, just fall off all of a sudden very quickly. So Schmitz, no, he's very old. He's 35. McIsaac is 27. 8 points in 50 games. It doesn't look like he's a consistent NHLer at this point, which is a little disappointing. Now, what if we got Dobson back? I mean, he's not at the age where he would be dropping off. So, and we know he's a top 4 from his time here earlier. Did Montour hit? Was Montour a hitter? Yeah, he kind of was. Dobson wasn't. And still isn't. Mata, no, he's kind of at an age where he might drop. Bouwmeester might not be a bad idea, because he only wants like 6 mil or so. No, he doesn't hit at all, is the issue. So if we got Bouwmeester, we'd be moving out Ghost, which doesn't make much sense considering they look like they're the same player, except Bouwmeester's a righty. Yeah, they're effectively the same player. So if we got Bouwmeester, we'd have to move out Ghosts in a trade, which is definitely doable. It's a movable contract as of right now, but I'm not sure who we'd get back, because I don't see, other than that, I don't see too many guys in free agency who I honestly want. Now, Jacob Larson is available from Anaheim. I mean, at this point, we're just practically retaining 50% of salary on everybody. Right, so maybe you go after Jacob Larson if you can with the trade value, but I wouldn't imagine that would be too much of an issue, especially given that Anaheim wants to give him up for whatever reason. Well, actually, the rebuilder, so it does make sense why they would want to give him up. He's 30 years of age as well. Jacob Larson might be perfect. Might be perfect. Might fit into that defensive core real nice. And, I mean, then you might be able to put Ghost on the top 6. So then you have a left side of Riley, Larson, and Ghost. That'd be filthy. But again, that's kind of only happening if we retain 50% of Larson's salary. And if we're getting Gibson as well, then that's actually a lot of trade value right there. You might actually have to give up Ghost in that deal. But I don't know if Anaheim would want Ghost. I'm just spitballing ideas here because I don't see too many names in free agency who I want, because they're all old and going to drop off, and I don't want to necessarily sign someone who's going to drop off quickly. Anyone available on the block? Alright, so I went through the trade block, and the best guys who I could find defensively were Larson and what's his name? Who was it? Dumba, right. Now, we could still go into free agency, but I don't know. I'm leaning more towards trades, especially because of the salary cap issue. So you guys let me know, and I will see you guys in the next one.